This is the passenger side. Front door power window unit for Gil's car. The other one that came out of it had a real weak spring. So we had to go find one of these. And that's the rebuilt window motor. There's the transmission installed. For the longest time, I had this thing clamped with the vice grips because this is dangerous. It's under pressure. But when you've got the window motor attached, it's not going anywhere. Yeah, because that gear holds it. So what we're going to do is install this back in the door. I don't have the glass in, so I'm hoping that I can install this with the window motor and have clearance. I kind of think so. We're going to find out. There's absolutely no problem inserting the regulator with the power window motor already attached. It's so easy. And, the service manual says to do it that way. I generally don't like to take the regulator out because I lose all my adjustments. Maybe I should just get better at doing the adjustments. The window motor, if you try to remove it or install it here, 1, 2, but right here's the third bolt, which you can't get to unless you drill a hole here. Which, well, I know, you can. Anyway, as far as installing the regulator, the only thing you have to do is catch that slider right there. And you do that first, then line up your bolt holes, and you're off to the races. These leather washers they keep talking about for the window regulators. Well, it goes there, and it goes there, and it's a use as required. Well, why should you replace it? Well, that's an original. Here's another original. For 60 years, you might as well buy the new leather washers. What are they? $2.50 now? The guy that can install quarter windows on a convertible 62 deserves a prize. Oh, yeah, you're gonna need your mini wrenches, but there's a little screw, a little nut up on the top here, and there's one on the bottom. And there you can almost see it. But they're damn near impossible to get to. You gotta get the top one on first. Of course, you gotta have the coupler aligned. The motor's heavy, and you don't want to fall off. So you gotta stuff paper and foam in here to hold this thing up and in place. Then get the coupler, and then get that little nut. Here's what I'm talking about. On this stud. And, very difficult to do. And of course, you got to get it flat and square, and just get it started. And then, then the only way you're going to rotate it is with a mini wrench and just a fraction of a degree. The bottom one, well, I don't know how you get at it, except I put it on the end of this telescoping magnet, and I fed it through here, and got it to lay on the stud, then reach up under here with the bony fingers and just get it started. Then, if you have luck of the stars, 1/4-inch drive snaked through here, and then you can get that lower nut. I've got 5 or 6 nuts down in here, that I'll never find. What a job. As I recall, so this is the power window motor that's going to go into the driver's side rear quarter on the convertible. These are those studs that you're trying to catch with the nuts. And what do you do if you keep dropping the nuts? You go by a whole bunch of nuts. The law of statistics says eventually you're going to get the nuts on the studs like you should. But at this point, be sure that you have these dressed, or at least try the nuts, because you don't want any burr making your job tough to get these things started. So, we need to lay down on this floor section so that we can work in here on that. But to annoy you and cause you great frustration, let's put some hooks in the floor to really grab you. Hence the padding. So this is what that transmission looks like that we're trying to attach. You can see the legs have the holes for the studs, and you got your drive. It's a matter of access, Alex. Well, there's your critter. The upper bolt had more access on that side of the car than on the passenger side, so that was an easier start. But the bottom was exceptionally difficult. I could not snake a socket extension in this way or this way inside the door, so I had to get a mini wrench and quite contortionate. It was like 1/8 of a turn. Anyway, it is tight. We'll lubricate and connect wires and move on. And now that I've got it all done, I had another thought. You could cut this section of metal out here, grind it away. You wouldn't lose that much strength, and then you'd be able to get in here with access. Of course, that's not a problem now because I don't need to. Let's see how you do. Not bad. Okay. Moving on.